Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and I can put this away because I've got Westwood's Solo Winds Untamed to review today. Flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, baritone saxophone, an amazing collection and kind of the final installment of the Untamed series. Let's take a look at it today. Here's the website. Well, I've been a fan of Westwood's instruments for a long time, and I use their piano and other things as well. And I particularly like the Untamed series for its ability to generate constantly evolving textures, which are still kind of useful within the pitch ranges that we're choosing. We'll take a look at how it works in a second, but just to note that the whole package is on sale right now, and you get all those woodwind instruments. We've got 17, 18 days left as I record this now. They sent me a copy to review, but I've actually purchased myself a bunch of this stuff already. I am a Westwood fan, just so you know, and I love this library. You'll see why in a moment. There are so many articulations that I'm going to recommend you watch Rob's walkthrough. He goes into great detail for every instrument. What I've done is a few pieces. Can I write music with this? That's the question that I always have when I pick up a library. Let's find out. It's a contact interface, and here's the basic interface, and this is like all the other Untamed interfaces. At its root, the instrument relies on what Rob calls improvs. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 improvs. For every half step, every key on the keyboard, there are 3 different velocity layers. A soft strike will result in a long tone that has a small amount of variation, and then a medium strike, a little more animation, and then finally a high velocity strike. Quite a bit of turmoil. So if I play something like, right now I'm in mono mode. Let's go into poly. So if I play a low strike and then a harder strike, I can get a very expressive, evolving texture out of just a couple of notes. And I have to say, this is the best sort of flute choir library patch I've ever run across. What I've used for this first piece is the round robin. So each improv is going to be different every time. Round robins are super useful. Let's listen to the piece, and then we're going to come back and break it down. I thought to myself, what if I try to do something that sounds like a small woodwind ensemble? So we've got a little bolero going on here. Should we look at all the instruments at once? So all this expressive goodness as a result of these long samples and, sort of very vital effects. I'm using a lot of controller data. If we take a look at what's happening with all this expression down here, you can see everybody's got a little bit of wiggle on them, right? Well, each of these instruments has its own just fantastic qualities. The bassoon is just this beautiful sound, and I'm using shorts here. Many people really seem to be enjoying the sound of the baritone saxophone, and it's an underutilized instrument. Again, shorts creating a bass line. But there's some wonderful, wonderful effects with that as well. Just something as simple as this sort of soft air sound. Listen to how beautiful this is. Single note. Oh no, we can do a chord. Okay, here we go. The soft air, they asked the performer to put as much sort of breath in as there was tone, and a lot of these have that same sound. It's better on clarinet, flute, and baritone sax than it is on the double reeds on oboe and bassoon, but still awesome sound. Again, you can see we've got improvs and round robins, and then this amazing storms. My last piece uses that, as well as surges and trills. Let's take a look at the trills, because the trills are a really remarkable thing, and I use them in the second piece. Let's take a look at the clarinets. I guess that's might be the best way to introduce those. So here the clarinets are doing chords, but listen to what happens with these trills. They're just so beautiful. A soft strike, sort of aleatorically presents a second note, a minor third up above, and then a major third for a more brilliant strike. So you could theoretically, really play around with that here. And then now I've got this little Dorian thing going on, and I'm really just holding 3 notes down. It's kind of beautiful, and I take advantage of it later on in the next piece I do. Well, if the first piece was a little kind of conventional and just trying to sort of create something that felt like a small ensemble, this one's a little more experimental. I've used the warbling clarinets at a third and then really just kind of reacted to it, scoring around it. There's a flute choir in thirds as well. You can see it in green here. I do love the sound of this. Rob has found wonderful performers who are capable of playing in kind of extreme registers and sort of some unusual techniques in their instruments. We've got in the baritone saxophone, for instance, this like cluck tongue effect, which is almost like a hit. You can hear the notes, but it's about, but it's really more about the clicking sound. It's really pretty terrific. And the bassoon is the full range of the bassoon, so you get quite a wide range. Here I've used the bassoon and the flutes kind of doubling together. High register of the bassoon. Ordinarily we double that with oboe, but I just really love the way the bassoon and the flutes work together. Because these are long evolving samples, you really feel like you're listening to players. And this is the thing that sometimes samplers just don't get right. With expressive control, you've got an ensemble that, if it doesn't exactly nail a full performance and doesn't give you the complete control that you're looking for, it gives you the kind of vitality and excitement that you get from a live performance. Let's look at my last piece. So one of the thrills of this library and all the Untamed libraries is a patch that Rob calls Storms, where as the expression slider starts from 0 and goes up to 127, additional layers are brought in on top of every single key, so that by the time you get to the top of the range of your fader, you have the sort of wildest version of the untamed quality of the sound. Sometimes pitch warbles or, really kind of growling sounds as well. And I thought to myself, well, wouldn't it be fun to just kind of create a couple of chord stacks and play around with that? Well, here you can see I've done that with each of the instruments, and you can sort of follow the way the expression slider goes. This can get very big it's an effect, it's an orchestral effect almost, even with these solo instruments. Striking and unusual and thrilling and fun, right? And one thing I haven't mentioned is Rob's provided us with multis, contact instruments that are stacked versions of them. Classics, experimental, improvisations, shorts and textures. Obvious classics include doublings like flutes and oboes, right? Tetrad, this is beautiful. Very strongly panned. It's worth noting that there are a number of microphone positions and additional elements in the interface that include EQ, controls for tightness, how much reverb you want, things like that. There's so much to dive into in the Untamed series. And I've discovered that no matter kind of what I'm working on, there's a place for one of the Untamed instruments somewhere in the mix. It adds vitality, life, and excitement. You know, to have these long, exciting, constantly changing samples. Really enjoyed making these pieces this morning, but this stuff I think works best alongside other kinds of conventional scorings. Well, great performances in the same space that all the other Untamed libraries were recorded in. Overall, the whole thing sort of holds together. I feel like I should make a template, an Untamed orchestra template. I can just see it. I mean, it really sparks my imagination. Well, giant Westwood fan, I hope this has been useful taking a look at this library today. Like and subscribe to the channel and ding the bell, you'll be notified when I do my videos. I'll see you next time.